President Buhari and top Nigerian government officials have today met the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken with agreements and support reached on key issues. And the attack on Taraba community by suspected Cameroonian separatist group Ambazonian soldiers left several people killed. We speak with the governor of the state tonight on the matter. Hello everyone, welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm sure Kimalaya Channels Television in Abuja. We're keeping tabs on the report submitted to the Lagos State government by the NSAS panel of inquiry over allegations of police brutality and the incident which occurred on the 20th of October 2020. It's 12 days now and counting on the Lekki tollgate incident in Lagos that we're following up on the outcome of what the state government will say afterwards. The Justice Paris Okwebo-led panel has submitted his report, and there are indications that the details are far-reaching, but the Lagos State government says a white paper on the report will be released in 2 weeks, and the countdown has begun. 12 days to go. Our eyes are on the matter. Let's now tell you that the United States Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken, has been meeting with President Buhari, his vice, Yemi Osinbajo, and other top government officials. Since the man arrived on Nigerian soil, the American diplomat is on an African tour. On the issue of NSAS and the report of the panel, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, told Mr. Blinken that he will await the steps taken by Lagos before the federal government takes action on the report of the state judicial panel of inquiry. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has also met with the American official where there were official consolidation of agreements between the two nations. Take a listen to the U.S. Secretary of State and the Vice President.
Working together, finding ways to cooperate. We're all feeling that very strongly when it comes to COVID-19, and we're grateful for the work we've been able to do together on that. And I think looking to the future, developing capacity for manufacturing vaccines in Africa is going to be critical, especially in dealing with, unfortunately, the next pandemic, because there almost certainly will be one. We know from the work that we're doing together on climate that we have to be doing this together, and we very much appreciate what Nigeria has done, including at COP26, and including with regard to dealing with methane emissions. We know that there is much that we can do together to build our economies back even stronger after the pandemic, and much of that goes to the right kinds of investment in infrastructure, in green economies, in making sure that the investments we're making together are really a race to the top for our people.
Yes, most of what was said, especially about the importance of cooperation and the importance of working together. And it's absolutely critical. It's been shown, especially in response to COVID-19. And I think that this is probably a presidential way of showing just how interconnected the whole world is. There's no real solution without everyone being protected from this pandemic and possibility of others. And I also like to thank you again thank the government of the U.S. for the cooperation on security, which has been very important to us. They said that comes out of Europe, and of course we're looking forward to the helicopters as well.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, some of the agreements that have been signed on some bilateral relations between America and Nigeria. It's now time for us to check some of your political roundup stories.
The federal government is looking at increasing funding for statistical development through the establishment of the Nigerian Statistical Trust Fund and the full implementation of the national strategy for the development of statistics. Speaking at an event to mark the 2021 Africa Statistics Day in Abuja, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Mr. Clem Agba, explains that the plan has become imperative following the role that access to data plays in national development.
The strategies are the establishment of the Nigerian Statistical Trust Fund and the full implementation of the national strategy for the development of statistics.
Governor Fintiri of Adamawa State has assured the people that his administration will continue to provide the required infrastructural development that will ease their lives in fulfillment of his mandate. The governor gave this assurance while on an inspection of the ongoing construction of a flyover bridge and interchange in Yola, the Adamawa State capital.
You can see it clearly, and there are a lot of tangible and meaningful projects on ground.
Some political thugs have attacked members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, at Osogbo, the Osun State capital. The members who were attacked are those who belong to the Osun Progressives faction under the Minister of Interior, Mr. Rauf Aregbesola. The hoodlums reportedly arrived at the venue of the top meeting in a black Sienna minivan and began shooting sporadically. Reports say the thugs gained access into the compound because the personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps who maintained security at the premises were not around at the time of the incident.
It was a sad story yesterday in some parts of Taraba State, northern Nigeria, as there was an assault unleashed with palpable tension gripping residents of Takum local government area of Taraba State when some suspected Ambazonian soldiers from the Republic of Cameroon stormed the community. About 11 persons, including a traditional ruler, were killed in the incident that took place in the early hours of yesterday at Manga village. Takum local government area is a border community between Taraba State and the Republic of Cameroon. Joseph Manga, the brother of the slain traditional ruler and an aide to the Taraba State Governor, Darius Ishaku, told Channels Television about this incident. And a federal lawmaker from Taraba State, Senator Emmanuel Boacha, raised an alarm over a threat to Nigeria's territorial sovereignty following the invasion of Manga community in Takum local government area of Taraba State by Ambazonian separatists from the southern part of neighboring Cameroon. Senator Boacha, who represents Taraba South, raised the alarm while addressing his colleagues during Wednesday's plenary in the Senate chamber of the National Assembly in Abuja. He said the community was invaded by a separatist group from the neighboring country. An incident, he said, led to the killing of the village head of Manga and some residents. The lawmaker said some other residents were forced to flee their homes, leaving the village deserted. Senator Boacha therefore called on the military to immediately swing into action to prevent the eventual occupation of Manga community by the separatists. Let's take the conversation forward now, everyone. Let's now speak to...
Mr. President, in the early hours of yesterday, my constituent from the community of Manga, a village in Shibon ward of Takum local government, 20 kilometers away from the famous Kashimbila Dam, which is almost completed by about 96 or 7% by the federal government. This village came under attack by the Ambazonia forces or separatist movement from southwest Cameroon. And the village head and 4 others were killed in this attack. Mr. President, I consider this as an attack on our territorial integrity, like I said, and our sovereignty as an independent nation. What is their motive is yet unknown. Whether they want to expand territory that they want to lay claim for in southwest Cameroon, we are not yet clear. But as I speak, a number of individuals have gone missing and are yet unknown their whereabouts. The village also is razed down.
Well, you heard a senator, the lawmaker representing that area in question. Nigeria is faced with some of these issues of bandits. In fact, Taraba State has experienced in past few days some attacks by bandits. And in some that region of the country have experienced bandit attacks, some kind of insecurity threat in some parts of the country. Now added to it is some kind of invasion from a separatist group from neighboring Cameroon. That is an added injury into the situation in the country. So let's speak to the state governor of Taraba, Governor Darius Ishaku. He joins us from the state capital. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Let's begin by saying we really commensurate with you on the attack on the people of Manga community and the death of the community leader, whom we understand is also a relative to one of your aides. Let's begin by asking you, we understand that the Ambazonian separatist soldiers who were clamped down by the Cameroonian government were involved in this. What more do we know? Have we for certain know? Can you tell us for certain that they are behind this incident?
Well, thank you, Samuel. What you narrated was what happened yesterday. We woke up with that sad news. And unfortunately, Manga is on the other bank of the Lake Kashimila, which is the where the Kashimila Dam is, which is evacuating 40 megawatts to the grid of the federal government already. It's virtually finished, but you can't access it except with a speedboat because all the roads have been cut off due to the impounding of the dam. They came in there the early hours around 3-4 from what we gathered, and took the village head away from his home, shot him, killed him, tore him open, and then others were being killed along. And so it was yesterday, this morning, we were able to get the correct figure. But since yesterday, I've already asked the military. They had moved in. We talked with their headquarters. They were very cooperative. We moved in. But the real problem is that about 2 years ago, I wrote the defense headquarters to put a naval base in the Kashimila Dam, because this dam has gone almost 5 kilometers into Cameroon. And so the Cameroonians find it easier to transport themselves into Nigeria through this dam. And so we need a naval base there. And interestingly, we have a very good airport there, which is even better than the one I have in Jalingo here. It's well built, the runway is solid. I had asked earlier for the Nigerian Air Force to put a base there, but for some reasons, they took the base and put it somewhere else. And my reason then was that with a jet, within 3, 4, 5 minutes, you will check all the problems that are along our border with Cameroon. And with the naval base there, it is easy. So now those bordering towns on the lake shores will be assisted once there's a distress. And without this, these people are helpless. They were just killed, mowed down by the rebels. The details is yet to come out. I'm hoping by tonight I should get the details, because they went there throughout yesterday. So later we might get the details. But this is a summary of what happened. Sharon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you. It's a really very sad situation there. The story of your aide, who is a brother to one of the community head, what more can you tell us about it? How does it feel right now What do you know
He
about
is the
that? And
junior
what is the
brother.
situation at the moment?
He is the junior brother to the late chief that was assassinated or killed. He's the junior brother. And since yesterday, I have dispatched him to go along with the security agents. He was among those that identified the corpses, and they did burial. He is already home. He's at Manga now with the military, the police, and other forces. They're already there. Probably by the time he comes back, I will know the details of what happened.
So, what can you tell us also about the community people who have fled that Manga and then the neighboring communities? Are they able to return? Is that place still safe? Because the fear of insecurity or the fear that they cannot longer stay in that area was what led them to flee.
A lot of them haven't returned. I'm hoping that they will return now that they have seen the military presence there. The Nigerian military presence and the police is most likely they should have been coming back as of today. But mark you, Taraba has one of the longest borders with Cameroon. We have had this problem in Kurmi about 2 weeks ago, and the brigade commander was there himself to certify. It's just that that one was not as bad as this one. The people ran away from that community. And so there's a need, absolute need, that this boundary must be manned by security agents. The military precisely must man it because they are well armed, they are separatist group, and when they kill, they run away. So it's not an easy thing. It has to be military to man the border. Our border is very long. It stretches from Takon, where this thing happened, to Kurumi, to Sadona province, Sadona local government. So it's a very long stretch. It's not a short stretch. And they infiltrate in here.
Governor,
yes.
Yes, can you tell us, describe to us how these borders, for a lot of Nigerians who do not know how the borders look, is there any demarcation? Is there any wall? Is there any fence? Is there any way you can distinguish the Nigerian territory from the Cameroonian territory?
There's absolutely none. You can walk across the two borders just like you're walking away from taking a walk. There's no border, and they speak the same language. Some are settling in Nigeria, some are in Cameroon. So it's very difficult for you to be able to distinguish if you are there. You will know that, okay, this is the boundary of Nigeria. But then they intermingle, they move around. Hitherto, there was no problem because the Ambazonians or the separatists were not there. But now with the Ambazonians, they are being chased from their country by their own military might. And here, they are now using our own people sometimes as shield. And sometimes they kill them like they've done now willingly. We don't know the details. But I suspect probably they wanted cooperation from these people and they didn't give them. But these are the problems we have. There is no fence, there is no border demarcating or a wall to say that this boundary wall, there's nothing like that exists.
Well, I mean, one is also curious, Governor. Are you saying that there are no customs or immigration presence around these areas? Because one just wonder how these guys just walk into Nigerian territory and just kill innocent Nigerians. Any kind of posts of customs or immigration to check the movement, even if there are no demarcations?
There is immigration posts there. I understand they were manned by 2 or 3 people who had just maybe 1 gun or 2. When they exhausted their bullets, they ran away. They had not enough ammunition to charge these people who are with automatic guns. They ran away. But they tried. They scared them, but they too had to escape for their own lives. So it is not well manned. Even with immigration, as I said, they are not well equipped. If possibly, if they were well equipped, they will be able to have scared these people away, or be able to engage them enough that the community, the villagers, the poor villagers will have had a way to escape. You know, Manga is just a village like any village in Nigeria. Somebody, they don't even know what is gun. They know knife and cutlass. That's it. So that somebody is carrying a gun, they may not even know. So they are very cheap to mow down.
Well, I mean, again, explain to us this Anglophone crisis since 2017 or 2018, when the Cameroonian military clamped down on this separatist group. They're being at loggerheads with authorities, state authorities in the Republic of Cameroon, and this crisis have lingered. Has there been any kind of clash or any kind of conflict between Nigerians and these Ambazonians?
Yes, there have been constant clashes, border clashes with the same reasons, maybe due to forest deforestation. A lot of people have actually finished with the forest in Nigeria. Some of them are entering the Cameroonian forest to get madrid, which is a very prized log. And then farming. There is a problem of trying to encroach and enlarge farming farmlands. Recently, we had a meeting in Abuja with the Cameroonians there, and we discussed about this issue. They showed concern, and they pleaded with the federal government to help them prevent the Ambazonians, and that they will try from their own end to also make sure that they stop them from entering our territory. But I don't think the Cameroonians are doing enough. And even in our own case in Nigeria, I told you it's about 2 years ago, I complained about these problems. I said, we need the military, we need the Air Force cover, without which you cannot go. This territory is wide. Taraba itself is among one of the longest states. I'm the third largest state in Nigeria. And I have very large span, about the longest boundary with Cameroon. And so if you don't manage properly, and with this Ambazonia now problem, definitely you are going to get such crisis. We foresaw it, we asked for assistance, but none was forthcoming. Unfortunately, this one came. So there is a need, absolute need, for the federal government to have interest, because the Kashimila Dam itself is a federal asset. It has 40 megawatts. If you don't know, 40 megawatts is a large quantum of power. If you dedicate it to the Northeast, we will be happy that we will be having like 60% assurance of power. 40 megawatts is a big megawatt. So if you look at it, it's an asset, a federal government asset that needs to be protected, both by military on the ground, both by Air Force in the air, both by the Navy on the sea. That place is a large dam.
But Governor, let me jump in. This is a matter of international flavor, of international dimension. And when we wonder whether or not you've had a conversation with the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. You do not have control over the armed forces. Have you had conversation? If you said you've raised this matter, with whom? At what fora did you raise this matter?
I wrote this letter long ago, and I had complained about this issue myself long ago on it. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, until a large, sad incident happens, nobody really takes you serious. You see, it is now that these killings had happened, and it's from outside the country that have come to kill Nigerians, that everybody now is listening. But the warning had gone earlier, long ago. And as I said, if they had
Governor, it is good for us to hold people responsible. No, we wanted to know, is it the military that you reached out to, or the president himself?
I've reached out to the military. I've reached out to the military severally. I have.
And they did nothing about it?
Absolutely.
But you as a governor,
So
you've told your people that you said that you want the people to, you're promising them that you will protect them. What measure have you taken as a governor, as their leader of the governor of Taraba State to protect your people? What measures have you taken?
Apart from meeting those that are in charge of the military? Except if you are saying that a governor should take out and go and face another country. This is a different country. We have had several cases. This is not the first one. There were instances we recovered their guns, we gave it to the external affairs through the military and so forth. So this is not a new case. That is what I'm telling you.
The point I'm making here, Governor, is that this has happened. You said that you will empower your people against this kind of offensive. What have you done in that respect? What is going to happen to the people of Manga?
You say I empower them? Empower them in what sense?
No. You promised that you are going to empower your people to protect themselves.
You are talking about the press conference I said before. I didn't say I'm going to empower them. How do I empower them? How do I empower my people? The guns is not for anybody for sale or to buy. I wish it were so. Then probably the people who are there will have protected themselves. I mean, we are all under the federal government when it comes to military and police. There is literally nothing a state governor can do. We rely on them. What else can a governor do? If I have complained, what else can I do? I wish I knew if this thing was going to happen yesterday.
Governor, are you saying that you are helpless in this case? There's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do to protect
your people? It's not only me that is helpless. All the governors in Nigeria are helpless. Let me tell you, Sheyi. I have said it times without number. All the governors in Nigeria are helpless. And that is why we are saying, give us state police. If we have state police, I will have ordered the police. All the governors, not only Darius Ishaku that is helpless, not only Taraba state government that is helpless, all of us, the governors are helpless. Go and ask other governors and tell me who has something, a solution to give. We have to depend on the federal might when it comes to security.
If the case were different, Governor, if the case were different, if you have your way, if you have powers, what would you do differently?
I will have stopped them. My police will have stopped them. If I had them, my police will have stopped them. I will have equipped those who are there, the immigration officers. And there wouldn't have only been immigration officers. There will be police station there and possibly well equipped and armed. And that will have helped.
Would you also consider making a fence or building a demarcation or building a wall to fence off these
demarcation? Building a wall or a fence for a poor state like Taraba, we are almost the second to the last in revenue. Building a fence, the whole of the whole money that the state has cannot even build, let's say, 10-kilometer fence. Let's be frank. Will I be thinking of the health of the people, the education of the people, infrastructure of the people, providing water of the people, or building a fence? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I would rather be taking care of the things I can handle. And the building plans will not help. And even if it is the government, I will ask them to do the cheapest fence. But if you have people who can man the area, police the area, I'm sure it will reduce this minimally to the least.
But Governor, we're due for a break now, but just in about 30 seconds. What about the security vote that is accrued to the state? Would that help? Have you used any part of it for this purpose?
Yeah, how much is security vote that will build a massive fence like that? How much is security vote that you build a massive vote? You'll be talking in millions of dollars, not in naira even. How much is a security vote that you will build? Most of these are security votes are exhausted before it goes anywhere. Because we are in the Northeast, particularly, I've been having a lot of crises too, just like my colleagues do have everywhere. Security is prime now. It's most of us. And it's a security force we used to man. In fact, it's not enough most of the time. It's not even enough. So what is security for? It's peanut.
All right. Your Excellency, we need to take a break now. But when we come back, we'll get your closing thoughts on the program. Plus, the Senate Committee Chairman on the Army, Senator Ali Indrume, joins me after this break. I will take a look at a strategy to taming these killers and how we can stop the bloodshed in our country. And afterwards, of course, we'll get the closing thoughts of Governor Darius Ishaku. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here in the program. Our closing moments with the Executive Governor of Taraba State, His Excellency Governor Darius Ishaku, who has been speaking with us from Jalingo over this sad incident in Manga community of Takum, local government area of Taraba State, where Ambazonian separatist soldiers killed several Nigerians, including the village head in that area, who incidentally is also a brother to the aide of the governor. Our closing moments now. Your Excellency, it's a very sad scenario. I was asking about the security vote. I mean, it might not be enough, as you said, to build fence, but it might be enough for you to be able to think about other ways of protecting your people. Would that suffice, or what is the immediate effort that you're going to make with some of those funds available to you to at least immediately give confidence to the people living in Manga community or Takum local government area so that they can return to their homes? A lot of them have fled.
They have fled, but we are moving people, as I've told you, including the late chief's brother. He's in the village now. We are moving the food and materials that we think will be necessary for them already. We have to assist the military, assist the police to move in immediately yesterday when the news broke out. All these are part of the things that we will do without anybody prompting us. These are natural things we do. We have extra food and so forth that for emergency we dispatch. We do, and we had already done that. We did it in Kurumi when they had...
But do you have a local security initiative aside the normal police and the military, like we have in some other states?
What we have is
are you thinking in that line? Maybe the vigilante groups or local security groups?
We have vigilante, but what will a vigilante do when he doesn't have AK-47 and people charging him with AK-47? I just told you that even the immigration tried their best. I don't know which gun the immigration was using. Apparently, maybe the type of normal old guns of cock and fire. To be frank with you, even the military needs to be equipped. Even the police needs to be equipped. All this paramilitary needs to be equipped. The federal government must decide to equip them and equip them properly. Some of these things, even the police can handle it. But how will you tell me? If even my ADC, if he's not well equipped, how can you protect me when he can't protect himself? These things you are talking, these people must be well equipped. If the federal government must equip them, the federal government should equip them.
All right.
No government.
Let's wrap up now because of our time. Governor, let me ask you, because this is not, as far as the Constitution is concerned, this is largely out of your purview, largely out of your powers, because you are a state governor, you are a federating unit, and so the issue of territorial integrity, the issue of international or external aggression is within the purview of the federal government. Are you thinking about speaking to the president, or what are the permanent solutions you are thinking about right now? Just in about 30 seconds so that we can close.
Absolutely. As we are talking, I have been making arrangements to see Mr. President. But I need to get the details of what has happened. This didn't happen yesterday. I need to get the details of what happened. I can't go to Mr. President when I myself, I don't even have the details. The brother of the late chief is there in the village now. I hope that tomorrow or next they will be back here. I have to have details, and I'm making arrangements. I'll see the president very soon and brief him, not only Manga, brief him with other areas, and possibly give suggestions of what I think should be best when I have consulted with all my people also. But the question of talking of fencing, like they do in America, I don't think we can afford that kind of fencing here. Some of these places.
Are you open to visit that place too? Because as a governor, are you planning also to see for yourself on the ground?
Why not? Why not? I'll be there.
When are you doing that?
Why not? I can't tell you that. Ask me in the week's time. I can't tell you that I'm going
to. We must remember that the Executive Governor of Taraba State, His Excellency Governor Darius Ishaku, thank you so much, and we sincerely commiserate with you and your state over that sad incident. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us tonight.
Grateful. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Let's switch gears now and look at how we can effectively strategize on stopping this kind of situation. We have enough on our hands, not to talk of having Cameroonians or separatist group from that country killing our people. I have tonight Senator Ali Ndume, who joins me now here in our Abuja studio to discuss further. Senator Ndume is the chairman of the Senate Committee on the Army. Thank you so much, distinguished Senator, for joining us tonight.
Let me
start by asking you, this is a very sad incident, an external aggression on our own people, on Nigerian soil. What's your take on the situation?
Well, I don't want you to take it the way you just said now, like an external aggression. I've listened to the governor, and the actual situation is that there is more of communal or tribal conflict that affects community along our borders. And you know, the border of Nigeria and Cameroon stretches from Taraba and even down to Cross River, up to Borno in my local government, Goza. We have several villages, towns across the border, and mostly it's divided by river, and you can see that the Manga village is a settlement, it's a resettled settlement from the location of the dam construction that were moved along. As the governor said, the details are not yet out, but this type of communal clashes between tribes and communities and the river happens, not frequently, but it can happen, especially these days, for basically economic and sometimes political reasons, and in rare cases, even religious.
I mean, it brings forward that whatever is happening in neighboring countries, in other areas that are outside of our jurisdiction, sometimes we need to be conscious of it, and we need to take precautions so that it doesn't spill into our own situation. And the governor said that he had cautioned about things like these to the military, to the leadership of the military, but according to him, nothing has been done.
Well, when communities are living together quietly, like in my own, let me use the one I know. In my local government, we have a town called Kirawa. It's a border town. And you have the same Kirawa in Cameroon. And the only demarcation is the river that divides the two. So sometimes even in my local government, if I want to go to Asgeshia, which is another border town that borders Cameroon, it's also river that divides the Asgeshia, Cameroon, and Asgeshia, Nigeria. Then you go further to Kogum, an area, village called Kogum too. Still, it's a border town in my local government where you have the same tribe. In Kirawa, the same tribe, Mandara, people are living in Nigeria. And right now that I'm speaking to you, there are no Nigerians in the Nigerian part of Kirawa. But life is normal in the Cameroon part because of the insurgency. They have moved over to the Cameroon.
So the Nigerians in that community, they no longer live in the
Nigerian side.
So
yes.
they moved out.
They moved to the next, just across the river.
So we thought that most people have returned to their community.
No, they are returning. We are talking about returning them. They are ready to return. The Cameroonian government, we visited them recently. They are ready to return, and the government is planning on returning them all by December. That is next month. And what we need to do now is to rehabilitate their, destroyed houses and infrastructure. But they live right across. I mean, the river dividing Nigeria, Kirawa, and that of Cameroon is not more than 20 meters.
That's close.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you can talk to your neighbor in the Cameroon side. But then, as I'm saying, in this case, they are not only the community, but they were resettled from the dam area when they were compensated and moved. That is what happened around that Manga area, but I don't have the details. But let me give you sometimes this kind of situation that happened. The Kowon people, that is one village in my local government that share border, the same community of Mafa people. There's a tribe they call Mafa. They live across the border with the Cameroon. And at one time, they had a clash between the Nigerians and another tribe that were living in the same locality, which are different tribes. They had this tribal conflict. When they were fighting, it is natural for those that have neighbor across, just across, will give them support. And the situation nearly degenerated. It took a lot, but then army was not involved and the police were able to contain it. I remember that, was it in I think in the year 2000 or so. But for Cameroon, in Kirawa and Nigeria, the Kirawa Nigeria and Kirawa Cameroon, they are from the same tribe.
Is there a threat on our territorial integrity?
There?
No, I'm asking, in some of these areas.
No, this one is not a threat on our territorial integrity. What happened, as I said, what I'm suspecting, because the reports are not clearly out, is more of a communal clash than issue of... Besides, the Ambazonians are stateless group. So how can a stateless group attack a country that it is a state?
But they attack the people.
Yeah, that is it.
So, but theoretically, we might be trying to find a word to describe it, but people's lives are lost. And so whether or not their intention is to attack Nigeria, or, but now they've killed people, and so that's the reason why but we are concerned.
You don't confuse the two, Shehu. What I'm saying is, security to every Nigerian is a constitutional matter and is, in fact, is the main purpose of government.
Absolutely.
But that is not to say that, Cameroon or whatever Ambazonia you call them are threatening Nigeria. Those are things. They are threatening Nigerians along the border. There is a community issue that affects Nigerians among the border. Now that this incident has happened here, there, and it continues, before it escalates to a certain level, the government needs to take measures to protect our people across the border community, across the community border. Before, in my local government, where I told you we have 3 or 4 villages that border Cameroon, you don't need police, you don't need anything. You just drive either your motorcycle or car and you stop by the gendarme, or what they call it, gendarme, or Nigerian immigration, asks you where you are going, who are you, then that's all. Nobody was anticipating this, but as the time goes on, as I said, economic issues, pressures come up, political, and this, that creates this kind of a situation.
Because,
but my fear, let me say, while I'm not saying Nigerians should go to sleep, but Nigerians, the way I read from the online social distance, people just talk out of ignorance and escalate a situation to look as if, oh, Nigerians are being attacked by Cameroon and all our people are dying and all that. Well, this incident is a serious one that needs to be looked into. But that is not to say that Nigeria is in any way under threat from any of the neighboring countries. That's what I want to say. And the Nigerian army, because they are engaged in unconventional war everywhere, Cameroon will never dare Nigerians militarily. The Amazonians or whatever you call them, they can never dare Nigerians. 1 battalion, 2 battalion will deal with them. But we have scattered problem in the country. Nigerian army is involved everywhere. And as the governor said, because we have been enjoying peace for all these decades, we are thinking that, oh, so the police is not equipped, the army is, the Air Force, they virtually managing with absolute equipment for ceremonies. Only once in a year they do Independence Day. But now we are faced with threats, security threats everywhere.
Because some of the stories that come up, lately, you will hear that even some of these, the threats within these border communities, even in your Borno state, that there were stories as to some communities coming under the shield of these Boko Haram because of some of the other threats that they see, paying them for them to these are stories that we hear.
That is another mixture. Here we are with the issue in Manga, which the governor said here that he has not received report. We cannot be talking on it in the studio.
But I'm asking
now. Secondly, the ones we are talking about now is a different thing. Insurgents invaded Borno State. At one time in 2014, they took over 22 local government. The Nigerian army have been engaging them for years, for 10 years now. We're getting to the end or near end of it. Then another group emerged that is more deadly and more professional. That is the ISWAP group. Now they take their territories and mark the soft spot areas, especially the abandoned villages. So many of them, you know. In my own local government, we used to have so many settlements, but all ran away and we are occupying only 4 or 5 now. So the other structures that are existing, the insurgents find them convenient, especially on the main highways, to station themselves there. This is why you hear of, like between Damboa and Biu, is only about 80 kilometers. But that is like a route of the insurgents, SWAPs, especially they find it convenient to rush across. So they take their time sometimes because of the absence of the military presence there, and the village Sabongari, for example, have been abandoned. They go there, occupy all the houses, and when they chase us out, they occupied my house in Goza until the army came and took over and drove them away. Then our people started coming gradually. So it's a different thing to say, okay, in Sabongari, people are not there, but they have run to Damboa and stay in a camp. If you have your house, and some of the villages are being wooed by the insurgents now to come back as long as you recognize us as the government. Those are the
so the terrorists don't hold any territory in Borno State.
Not holding anyway, but there are some.
They are hibernating in those.
Yes, there are some towns that are abandoned, and they find it convenient to hibernate there, and in fact launch attacks or launch roadblocks sometimes. By the time we inform the military and the military runs there, they disappear. And in fact, these days they have a strategy of operating in the forest now. From the top, the aircraft can only see what is visible. So they normally hide under trees or they assemble under big.
So the stories that some of the terrorists protect some of these the natives are not
stories. You are hearing from the horses.
And now I'm all confirmed.
It's a story. That
the horses here, so let's hear from the man.
No, you are telling me about stories. I'm telling you about what is actually.
I wanted to confirm.
I'm saying I gave you an example of so many. Damboa is a local government under my senatorial district. From Damboa to Sabongari, there is a town called Sabongari which is in between Damboa and Bio. Because that route, they have a route. The insurgents have a convenient route for them. The army tried to station a front operating base there, but they intensively, kept on, and we lost some soldiers there. So by the time the super camp concept came in, we moved the Nigerian army moved the front operating base from Sabongari to Damboa to operate from there. Now the Boko Haram took over the place and stayed there. So army will come on patrol and chase them away. By the time they leave them, tomorrow they come back because they are mobile people anyway.
All right.
So, but not that is not to say now that in Sabongari, in Borno South, in Borno South, there is a local government or a territory that is being controlled by.
Senator Aline Dume, Senator Chair on the Army, thank you so much indeed for the insight that you have shared tonight. At least it's clear to some of the things that are happening.
Just to add that Nigerians should not panic. This is not like there is a big threat to the Nigerian territory, no. There is a communal clash between the stateless people and the people around that, and the governor will clarify as he said. But that is not to say that the Nigerian territory is under threat from any angle, and it will not.
Thank you so much for the assurance that you have given tonight. Thank you. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimberley. Bye for now.